Have you ever asked, what is heaven? Is it another dimension, a paradise? Does it really even exist? We're all going to pass from this earth, and knowing what comes next can end the fear of death and bring you peace. Our goal here at Hello Heaven is to answer these questions and many more concerning the afterlife. Welcome to our podcast, Hello Heaven. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Hello Heaven. I'm Barry Strohm, your host. If you're interested in learning the truth about heaven and hearing what a few of the lesser-known archangels have to say tonight, you've come to the right place.
I'm Connie Strohm, your co-host. Barry and I have been channeling with the spirits of the world for 15 years and now have 773 videos on our YouTube channel. And we have an account on podbean.com where you can download any of them for free. We receive many questions from our listeners where the answers can be found in our videos. Our channel is in the name of Barry Strohm, and you can view our past shows as well as where we bring you all aspects of the paranormal and supernatural. It's our hope that you will tell others about our show so we can reach more people and hopefully help them to find happiness.
Okay, Hello Heavens broadcast on YouTube Live, as well as my personal Facebook page and in our Facebook groups. Our most active Facebook group is Words of God Then and Now, and all of our live videos are always broadcast in that group. Audios of the broadcast can be downloaded on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Alexa, and many of the other platforms. Now, tonight, we're going to be speaking with several of the lesser-known archangels. There are many more archangels than are recorded in the Gospels. The ancients did not realize what spirit energies they were communicating with, since they could not see the energy. Tonight, we will be speaking with the Archangel Zadkiel, the angel of forgiveness and mercy, and obviously an angel at this time that is very busy. Archangel Raguel, the Archangel for Justice and Fairness, and the Archangel Jeremiel, the Archangel of leading people back to God. Obviously, we have chosen three that are quite important right now. In my book, Modern Messages of the Archangel, we channeled with more than 20 different archangels. If you'd like to learn more about our angelic helpers, the book has a wealth of information in it. I'm sure you would enjoy it. If you check out any of my books, please leave a short review. It only takes a couple of minutes, but does the world of good in helping spread God's words on Amazon. And that's what we try to do. We will start channeling with Zadkiel, the angel of forgiveness and mercy. So, Connie, let's begin.
You're welcome, Archangel Zadkiel. Thank you for joining us. Why are humans not familiar with your name?
Well, as Barry said, the ancients, or the people that went before and recorded the names of angels and understood that truly there were angelic energies, they did not know who they were speaking with. All of the angelic energies, they never saw forms. When they would see forms, it was quite often as a human, and they would never even understand that they were speaking with an angel. So, several of the ancient writers decided that they would assign names to these energies, and they made the assumption that these energies were the only ones they were speaking with, but they weren't. They were speaking with many, many more than they ever thought.
What is the meaning of your name, Zadkiel?
Zadkiel has an ancient reference. There were ancient gods that were being worshipped, and there was an ancient god that was very similar to that name. And the ancients thought that I was that god. So they gave me the same name as that ancient god, and the name has stuck, although on other planets I'm known by many, many other different names. And it really doesn't matter what name you think when you think of me. It's simply that you think about how I can help you and what I can do for you.
Will you tell our listeners how you function in the modern world?
We walk a thin line. All the archangels do. The angels must not change a person's life plan. If an individual uses his free will to determine a path, and that path we know is going against that life plan, we can try to do it, but we can only try to influence it. We cannot jump in there and change the circumstances so that he will be forced into a decision. It always comes down to free will, and free will is very difficult. As you know, humans have been using it to destroy themselves for thousands of years, actually since their beginnings, hundreds of thousands of years ago. So we can try to influence, but at no time will we go in and make absolute changes in a life plan. You're going to be judged by that life plan, and you will be judged by your own decisions. So it's difficult, but we do try to do the best we can.
Okay. Is your role currently different than it was in the ancient world?
Yes. In the ancient world, things were relatively simple. There were only so many ways that things could take place. Today, the modern world is quite complex. As you've learned technologies, you've learned many things, and you realize that there's much taking place. You have, for instance, social media. It might be that we might influence individuals on social media to do things. Today, you're talking on YouTube and you're hearing my words being spoken on many, many different radio channels. So things are truly different. In the old days, we would try to influence the leaders alone. Today, we try to influence individuals that will become leaders. So you see, in this modern world, things do take place. It never took place before.
How do you go about getting a person to forgive another person?
It's not easy. We will try to influence them into realizing the good things about the person that we would like them to forgive. Sometimes what an individual has done is so horrendous that there's actually no forgiveness. For instance, if another individual takes the life of a loved one, it's very, very difficult to forgive that person. But the reality is your actions have very little influence on that other individual. If you forgive him, you can be a good influence upon him. The act of not forgiving is very dangerous for the individual itself, because hatred will destroy a person. So when you do not forgive, quite often you develop this hatred, and that hatred will undermine who you are and what you're trying to accomplish with your life. So there are many, many different things that take place, but it's all through trying to influence. We may come to them in a dream and try to tell them that the person would be much happier if you would forgive. Our Lord, when he walked the earth, forgave everyone. Now, no ordinary individual is going to be able to do everything that our Lord did when he walked the earth. But forgiveness is quite important because of what it does to you. If you don't forgive, then you are creating angers and hatreds and other emotions that will undermine your life plan.
What is mercy and how does it differ from forgiveness, and why is it so important?
Mercy is a feeling that you must have towards others. Forgiveness is exactly what it says. You must forgive an individual for what they do. But if you have mercy is an emotion that will help you forgive. Mercy is very difficult to explain because it can be so many things. But if you have forgiveness and mercy in your soul, then you are a good person because you feel the emotion to try to help the person through mercy and you will forgive them for many of the things that they do. It's a difficult combination, but it is so very, very important if your individual soul is going to advance and if you are going to use the free will that you are given to the best of your advantage.
How do you get an individual to show mercy towards another?
You have to do it through suggestion. You must tell them that our Lord, when he walked the earth, showed mercy and forgiveness towards everyone. And he was truly the greatest individual that ever walked the earth. And if you want to be like Jesus, then you must show mercy and forgiveness and be able to get past the hatred that is the most obvious part of an emotion towards someone that you dislike. If someone has truly harmed you, killed your family members, for instance, it is one of the most difficult things that you can ever do. But you must not hold hatreds. It is the hatreds that will destroy your own life.
Yeah. Is it possible to advance in the realms without showing mercy?
Yes, but you must not show the hatred that undermines others. You must help other people. You must show love, and you must show understanding, and you must coexist. Now, how does mercy interact with all of those emotions? In a very complex manner is the answer. So it is possible that you could forgive a person, but not show mercy towards them. Now, we would like for you to do both, but at least if you're showing forgiveness, you're halfway there.
Yeah. What kind of karma is built if an individual does not show forgiveness and mercy?
They will be treated the same way in future lives. Whenever they do transgressions, they will not be forgiven, and then they will understand how that happens. When they harm someone, they will not be shown the mercy of forgiveness. And that will educate them in what it was like in their prior life when they were the ones that were in the position where forgiveness and mercy should have been shown.
Are humans less inclined to show forgiveness and mercy than in ancient times?
Not really. The basic concepts of hatred are pretty much the same in these modern times as they were in the past. Hatred leads to people not forgiving. Anger leads to having situations where you are not forgiven. When you show anger and hatred, it's very difficult for another person to forgive you. And the way humans have acted in ancient times is still very, very similar to the way they act today. The basic emotions of humans really have not changed much. Through the years, we have talked about showing forgiveness and mercy and leading good lives and coexisting. And there have been times that it has happened. But pretty much today, you still have violent wars. You have countries that hate each other. You have old animosities, jealousies. You have all the problems that existed in ancient times. It is only through people truly understanding the words of God and following them that there will be forgiveness and mercy and love and coexistence and all the things of which Jesus spoke when he walked the earth.
How do people contact you?
They simply pray to me. When you can pray to me directly, it may be that you have a family member that's ignoring you and you would like to reunite with the family member. You can pray to me and ask me to help intercede and do what I can. There's never any guarantees that I can be successful, but I can certainly try. I've been trying for hundreds of thousands of years, and More often than not, I can have an effect on a bad situation. So just simply pray to me like you would pray to Jesus or any of the other saints or any of the other archangels. The only difference is that you don't recognize my name.
Thank you. Do you have a final message for us?
Yes, absolutely. Living a good life is what is required for your soul to advance when it returns to heaven. Forgiving and showing mercy to others is an important part because it will help you build up friendships. It'll help you show love. It'll help you pass the most difficult tests that a human will have to do. Many people are transgressed upon, and they are harmed very greatly by others. How you handle those people that harm you, that's the question. As they say, that's where the rubber hits the road. And that is the difficult part. You must control your own emotions. There's nothing more important than you being able to control how you react to bad situations. If you react badly, then it will reflect upon you. If you react the way Jesus would want you to react, then that is a very good reflection upon you. So thank you so much. Once again, common sense plays an incredibly important role. Thank you for letting me speak. And I know that Raguel is waiting. He deals with many of the problems that I do as well.
Yes, thank you for joining us, Zadkiel. We will now speak to Archangel Raguel, the angel of justice and fairness. Raguel, welcome to Hello Heaven. How long have you been helping humans?
Since their inception, since their creation. I've been helping humans on other planets since their creation. And I've even helped in the previous universe that existed. So I've been around forever. Justice and fairness are something that is very important. When people are treated with fairness, many of the other emotions of hatred, of dislike, of jealousies do not come into play. So I've been around since the inception of humans and much, much before.
Yeah. Would you please give us some details about your role in helping humans?
I have tried to influence individuals that are in charge of setting up systems, in charge of doing constitutions, in charge of setting up political structure where humans are treated humanely and with justice and fairness. It is our desire that all humans are treated the same. We want you to be able to be treated fairly, and we want you to live in a system where justice is the same for all individuals. We don't want individuals to be favored. We don't want the rich to be exempt from laws and rules that the average person would fall under. So we try to influence, but we try especially to influence the lawmakers and the judges that enforce equalities and justice for all.
My guess is you're working overtime these days. Why is your role so important?
Because if you're not treated fairly, it leads to these other emotions that will destroy you. If your justice system is unfair, then you will not respect it and you will treat others unfairly. So in heaven, there is this great equality. We don't have these problems in heaven. It is only in the different cultures and civilizations that these inequalities exist. And as long as inequalities exist, there obviously cannot be any great equality. So we try to do our best. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose.
Yeah. Is your role any different now than it was in ancient times?
Somewhat. In ancient times, there was no formal structure of justice. Individuals would just simply treat others as individuals. But as humans decided that they would live in towns and cities and join together, it became obvious that there had to be some rules. So when it was time for these rules to be formulated, we would try to influence those in charge and come up with rules that would be fair for everyone. If there is not an equality, there is never a fairness, especially when there is justice. When people would react against the norms of the civilization, they had to be penalized, isolated, and they had to be stopped from doing harm to others. So justice was a natural progression. It came as humans became more gregarious and attempted to live together.
What's your opinion of fairness in the modern world?
There are countries of relative fairness, and there are countries where there is no fairness. If you would look at a country like Russia, which is a dictatorship, there's very little fairness towards individuals. If you look at a country towards Iran, which has a religion that would rather kill Christians than get along with them, there is no real fairness there for the citizens. The citizens are wonderful people, but they are treated terribly. The democracies have a higher degree of justice and fairness, but there are still inequalities. People with power will try to influence the system to their advantage. That's always been the way, and that is the way it is today as well. It is happening less than it did in ancient times. Kings were basically dictators. Serfs, slaves, slavery was much more dominant than it is now. So modern technologies have led to more effective justice systems. That is an absolute fact. But there are still inequalities, and it will not be until these inequalities are erased that humans will truly make the big step towards common sense and the equality that Jesus wants of you.
Yeah. In our book, we also speak of you trying to bring about harmony and redemption. How would you explain harmony?
Harmony is an equality of ambitions and wants and desires. If you listen to music, you hear harmony, where voices join together. When humans join together and work together and cooperate, there is this great harmony between them, and the differences are minimalized. Harmony is incredibly important, especially in music. When there is no harmony, there is no music. And when there is no cooperation among humans, there is no harmony in their way of life, and things are very difficult for them. So harmony is very, very important. And when you harm another, you should attempt to redeem yourself in the eyes of that individual. When you do that, then the other individual is more inclined to accept you and work in harmony with you. So it all ties together, and we tried to be the ones that coordinate it from this side.
Yeah. Why is helping humans find redemption especially important?
Because if you do not attempt to redeem yourself when you do harm to another, in most instances, the hatred will continue. And when there is hatred, there is no real cooperation or love, and humans cannot exist. So you must seek redemption when you do something wrong. You can try to seek redemption with the angels and with your guides by doing things that are right. For instance, in your early life, you may have done many things that are harmful to others, but you can change your life and you can help others and do many, many good things as you grow older. And that will help you redeem yourself in the eyes of your guides for the early mistakes that you made. So you have to be flexible. You have to do what is right and you have to do what is good.
So, Raguel, Do you ever get frustrated with humans?
Absolutely. Humans can be the most obstinate and bullheaded creatures that I have been able to try to assist. We can try to show them the way, and they will still do what they want to do. They will harm people and not try to redeem themselves in those people's eyes. They will look for political power. They will look for wealth. They will do all of the things that they can use to harm others and never try to redeem themselves in the eyes of God. When they do that, they are only harming themselves. They frustrate us because we're trying to help those individuals. But redemption can be difficult, especially if the person does not want to be redeemed. And humans have this long history of harming others and not wanting to do anything to be redeemed in the eyes of God.
What is your opinion of justice for all in our modern times?
Justice for all is a buzzword that civilizations use today. People with political power will try to take advantage of the justice system. They believe that as they gain financial wealth and political power, that the rules that apply to the average individual don't apply to them. So justice for all in modern times is becoming quite a problem, especially people with this untold wealth. Today, there are individuals that control wealth beyond any imagination. And they certainly believe that they are above anyone else. It may be that they inherited it, but they still think that they are very, very important and godlike people. And they will try to influence the justice system. You see it all the time with people that are trying to gain great wealth. It may be as simple as trying to change a zoning law in order to take advantage of all the other people so that they can make money. They're trying to influence the equality of justice. And until they learn that they are harming others and because of it, they will be penalized, it will continue.
Do you see any hope for humans in the future?
Oh, there's always hope. We do not let frustration bother us. Angels do not know the term frustration. We just simply keep on trying because we know when we fail, the individual has failed. And when the individual fails, it is his karma that he is making for himself. So we do the best we can, just like when you do the best you can to pass on the words of God. That's all you can do. How other people are affected by it is totally up to them. So it is their karma. Are we disappointed? Yes. Are we upset? No, because there are so many humans and we keep trying. Free will. It always comes down to free will. When you use your free will appropriately, good things happen. When you don't, bad things happen. It's really quite simple.
It is. Is there going to be any special event that will lead humans towards justice for all?
It is quite possible that God will get involved and perhaps influence a special event. But how individuals react to that special event is entirely up to their free will. Jesus came back and walked the earth and told all the individuals that he could speak to what they needed to do to redeem themselves, find mercy, and to return to heaven and to advance in his realm. Many ignored him. God may decide to return again, and he may be this great preacher that speaks the same messages, and humans will make the decision whether they want to follow these wonderful messages or not. History simply repeats itself, but it always is that free will problem.
What is God's opinion of capital punishment?
That is a difficult situation. Innocent people must be protected. Innocent people must not be under the influence of evil individuals that will harm them. You have heard the term an eye for an eye. That is not necessarily words that our Lord spoke. Justice for all means that there are certain bad individuals that have to be incarcerated, and perhaps if they have done evil to the extent that they have killed many other people, then perhaps it would be better to end their life plans because they have no hopes of redemption. If you kill many other people that are for no reason, and there's literally no good reason, protecting your family, your loved ones, things like that, you should never be punished for. If you are put into an army where you have no choice and are forced to kill others, you are not penalized for that. But when you go out and you kill innocents, babies, children, then perhaps there is a time in God's eyes that capital punishment would be appropriate. Because other individuals have got to be shown that they cannot behave like this. Simple incarceration may not be enough. It is not in God's words that you would incarcerate and torture a person to try to show them, to try to show others that they should not do the same thing. So there would be instances where it is more humane. The capital punishment would be appropriate for individuals that have done absolutely terrible things. But it all comes down to this concept of justice. All individuals must be treated equally. So capital punishment would in all instances be a last resort. God does not approve of taking another's life, but there may be a time that there may be no other answer. I know that that's not a good answer that I'm giving you, and capital punishment is one of the true conundrums in human life.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Do you have a final message for us?
Oh, yes, I would absolutely have one as well. Treat others as you want to be treated. That is the true meaning of justice. That is the true meaning of God's words. You must act with great equality towards another. Do not ever think that you are better than another person, because you are not. An individual that finds himself living on the street is equal in God's eyes to the wealthiest person in the world. You must treat all individuals with the same justice, with the same equality. Individuals should not be favored one over another. If you have great wealth, use it to serve God. That's why it has been given to you. Do not use it to abuse others through taking advantage of a justice system that has loopholes, or using the political structure to harm others. Always be fair. Treat others as you want to be treated. And that is generally the best guide you can have. So thank you for allowing me to speak, and be fair. Understand the great equality of God.
Thank you. We'll now be speaking with Jeremiel, the angel responsible for leading humans back to God. Jeremiel, thank you for joining us.
Connie, It's Jeremiel.
Jeremiel, I am sorry.
Well, you're the one who's going to upset the angel, and it's not me.
Okay, will you please tell us about your role in heaven?
Connie, it's okay. If you want to call me whatever you wish to call me, because the ancients called me by many different names, so that's fine.
Thank you. You're so kind.
My role in heaven is to try to make sure that there's always a path back to God. I try to make humans understand what is necessary to return to God. Many people do not believe that God can truly exist because they can't see him, touch him, feel him, speak with him. Oh, you can speak with him. But many individuals are not aware that your prayers or your conversations with God are being handled in the way you would like them to be handled. So I try to come to them in dreams and point out where they're making mistakes, pointing out how they should return to God and how it would improve their lives, trying to show to them the importance of living a good life so that when you return, your soul life is treated well and your soul advances in heaven. If someone does not point out these things, it may be that an individual never understands that these desires of God even exist. So I help guide religious individuals. I would help guide a preacher in choosing a life of helping to affect others and to do good things. I would try to bring messages of God that people understand. I would come to them in dreams in their subconscious. I would send people to them to influence them in their lives. There are many, many things that I can do to help guide an individual back to God. But most importantly, I must support people that are speaking God's words and trying to lead them to influence many, many people and have them return to God if they've drawn away from him.
Does that mean you spend a lot of time with Barry and I?
Actually, I do. I help you in many ways that you do not understand. I send people to you, and you try to treat them with love and kindness and help them advance and return to God. When you receive emails from these individuals that you have influenced them and that you have brought them and changed their lives, that is a combination of us coordinating our efforts with yours.
Oh, thank you. How did you work with the ancients who had no concept of a God existing?
Throughout time, there have been individuals that could speak to spirits, and that has taken place even in the earliest of times. Individuals with psychic abilities have had the understanding of messages from the spirit world. It started in different ways, but they started to come around to believe and understand that there were gods, that there were energies that were more important, that were not of the earth plane. It was taken to the extreme by the Greeks and the Romans, and they worshiped many, many different gods who they actually made up. They never truly understood the fact that there was a single God and that was the energy that was behind all of this. So humans have been very difficult to communicate with, especially in the beginning. Today, it's much easier. All the prophets who we sent back had psychic abilities, and they would receive messages. They would receive dreams. There would be times that they would hear voices in their head that would speak to them. There were many ways that we influence humans through the years, but today it is easier because we give people like Barry the ability to speak our words, and the technologies allow them to be heard by many.
Yet, do you believe humans are drawing away from God?
In many instances, they are. Technology has led to the false assumption of knowledge. Just because you might be the most brilliant person in the world does not mean that you are knowledgeable. You may not be able to associate the facts that you are given with the truths, because the truths can be very difficult. Actually, understanding the truth of God is more difficult than learning information out of books, because God speaks to you in different ways. So people are drawing away. Many of these so-called intellectuals are proving there is no God, and their foolish actions are influencing the young. We talk all the time about the future is with the young, and individuals that do not believe in God are teaching the young to pull away. We have to try to bring them back, and it is possible. But there are many atheists that are out there doing much harm, and they influence others, especially the young.
What role do certain religions play in having humans draw away from God?
Certain religions do not tell the truth about God. There are religions that only want to build their own strength and powers. And there are individuals that think for themselves, and they look at these religions and understand that they could not possibly be speaking the words of a loving God. And they draw away from the religions. And when they draw away from a single religion, it sours them on other organizations. It may actually be quite helpful and useful to them. So the religions are doing it to themselves. It might be that a religion has abused the young in their church. It might be that they create legal problems for others through their abuse. There can be many reasons why people make individuals pull away. It might be that their church will require them to donate so much to the church each week, and they simply can't afford it and have a life they want with their families. So in many instances, it's the fault of the church. The church may be preaching things that the individuals do not believe in. So there's many reasons why people draw away from God. Many people think that a religion is the personification of God, but it can actually not be further from the truth. The religion may actually be preaching words that God would never think of. If a religion tells you that it is the only pathway to heaven, they are lying to you. God would never tell you that. Each individual has his own individual path to heaven, and each soul goes to heaven. If they tell you that if you do not follow the sacraments of the church, you will go to hell, they're lying to you, because there is no hell. People fear. A lot of churches want you to fear God, and that's why individuals draw away, because they know that he is a God of love. So, yes, religions can drive people away from God.
Is there any hope for humans?
Of course, there's always hope. That's what my friend told you earlier. We have been trying to influence individuals for billions and billions of years. Cultures have failed. Many cultures have failed because they do not listen to us. When a culture draws away from God, they're on the path of failure. A culture can never truly advance until it learns to coexist, not to wage war, to live in peace. And if that culture cannot learn that lesson, it is on a path to destruction.
So, how do you try to lead humans back to God?
One of the most effective ways is for us to lead an individual to another that will give guidance. We lead people to Barry's messages of God all the time. And these peoples are then use their free will to decide whether they want to believe it or not. But many people do. There are many people that hear the truth. And all you can do is present an individual the truth and then turn it over to their free will. If they are convinced that God truly exists, then they will truly become a follower and return to him. We do our best, but sometimes individuals just simply will not react to the truth that they hear.
Are you the most important archangel in heaven?
All angels are of equal importance in heaven. Our messages vary, but you have to join together all of the different messages of the different archangels. If you need to be healed, you have to have Raphael. You want protection, you ask for Michael. It's a huge, I'm trying to think of the proper word for this. There are many, many different skills that archangels bring, and you have to have all of them. You cannot just have a single skill and succeed. God has provided the ability for these angels to do all of the different actions that are required to help you be a wonderful person and to advance in the realms. But it is a group effort.
Somehow I thought you'd say that. What will happen to humans if you fail?
Humans will fail. As I said, other cultures have failed, and humans are no different. God loves humans. There's nothing he wants more than for you to advance and to follow his words. But if you do not, then you will fail. Each individual soul has the same choice as humans as a whole. If each individual soul follows the words of God, they will do wonderfully when they return to heaven, and they will advance in the realms. If they don't, they don't. Free will.
What's the most effective way to lead people back to God?
To speak the truth. The truth, as they say, will set you free. Many churches teach humans to fear God, and that is the last thing that he wants. He wants every human to love God. If you can teach love, then that is the largest lesson that needs to be learned. You should never fear God. There is no hell, but there is a judgment, and you should live a good life and have nothing to fear. When you live a good life, you should not fear death, because that is your gateway to heaven. So it's very simple. You follow God's words and you have nothing to fear.
Barry and I have been trying to bring people to God by spreading his channeled messages. Do you have any suggestions that would help us do a better job?
It is very difficult. You are doing your best, and it is only when the individuals that are hearing your words help spread them to many others that you will be successful. Your personal success has nothing to do with how others react. You are doing exactly what God wants you to do. You're telling the truth about his messages. We come to you and help, and we try to influence you, and we bring many people to hear your words. But sadly, many are influenced by words that will draw them away from God. So it is a push and a pull. You pull them to God, and many push them away. It all depends who is the strongest. But the strongest is up to the free will of the individual. They must make up their mind what they want. They can live a life of splendor for this short period they're on the earth, or they can live a great life for eternity. When you say it like that, it makes a lot of sense. And hopefully people will someday understand. You must simply try to reach as many on your different social media programs and radio stations as you can. It's up to the people. You open the door. They have to walk through the doorway.
When and how would a person go about contacting you?
The same is always the truth. Pray. Ask for me by name, and I will try to come to you and help you. Say, Jeremiel, please try to help me and lead me back to God. I know that I'm straying, and I will bring people to you. I may bring you to a channel of Barry's words. There may be many things that we can do, but it is always your free will. You must use the free will to save yourself.
Jeremiel, do you have a final message for us?
Yes. When you draw away from God, you are destroying your soul life. Closeness to God is required for you to live a happy human life and for you to have success when you return to heaven. Your return to heaven is inevitable. It will come when you least expect it, but it will surely come. Draw close to God and follow his words. Live as you want to be treated. Do things to others as you want to have them done to you. You hear the words. They're easily accessible. You can go on to Barry's social media and hear all of the messages that he's brought you through the years. He has brought you so many messages that all questions are answered somewhere in those messages. Listen to Jesus on Wednesday mornings. Listen to the angels and the saints on Sundays. The answers are given to you. All you have to do is listen to them and follow them. It's very easy. It's easier today than it was in ancient times, believe me. All of the answers are available, but there's simply one answer: love. Show love to others and it will be shown to you. So pray to me, ask me to help. There's nothing I would rather do than help you return to God and understand the true love. Until you know God's love, you do not know the true love. So thank you so much. I appreciate the time. Pray to me. I will do my best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremiel, for joining us tonight. As I said earlier, my book, Modern Messages of the Archangels, has a huge amount of information about archangels, and I guarantee you that reading it will be a great learning experience for you. If you'd like to participate on the show, send an email to onestrohm@gmail.com. Tell us your story of the supernatural, the miracles that happened to you, even of your return to loving God. I'll get back to you, set up a time to record, and we'll let you take a shot at it. My 11th book, 11 of them, yep. My 11th book, Jesus the Missing Years, A Modern Gospel. It's available on Amazon in paperback, hardcover, ebook, and audiobook. A signed copy of any of my books is available on our websites, barrystrohm.com and spiritspredict.com. If you've read the books, please take time to give reviews of them. Amazon does not promote books. It does not have a bunch of reviews. And sadly, most of mine do not have too many reviews. Please just take 5 minutes. It'd be so much help for us.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Hello Heaven. Please join us on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live on Barry's personal page and in our Facebook groups on Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. The audio of our shows can be heard on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Alexa, Spotify, iHeart, and all the major platforms. So please tell your friends about our shows. They're all meant to prove the existence of an afterlife and bring you peace.
Indeed. I also want to thank you for listening to Hello Heaven. Our goal is to bring you the true information about the afterlife, and you heard a bunch of good stuff tonight. Everyone's going to pass from this earth, and the more you know about the journey of the soul, the less that you have to fear. Please tell your friends about our show. As the angels said, it's the word of mouth is the best way. Bring people to us, and we will try to do our best. So thank you very, very much. Goodbye, and thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Hello Heaven. Please join us Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube and Facebook. You can hear us on multiple audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Alexa, and other media platforms as well. If you'd like to appear on the show, send an email to onestrohm@gmail.com and tell us your story. Have a great week. Tell your friends about our show. They'll thank you for it. Music is by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com.